If you think my story sounds a bit strange and we're about to turn off this video, please take a moment to watch my slow motion footage before you do. Hello, this is Pro John Sang-ho. I would like to provide a more detailed lesson on the method of throwing the club head, which many of you are still curious about. When the head is thrown, the ball will be hit better and the speed will increase with less effort soon. Most hobby golfers are likely unaware of this throwing method. Ironically, the reason for this is due to golf lessons. I was really a beginner at golf for about 2 years, but I actually learned how to throw the club head shortly after I started playing. They say that if you know how to throw the head, you can achieve distance. So why was it that, even after I spent 2 years acquiring that feeling, I still couldn't achieve greater distance? I believe that I am making incorrect movements, which is why I have not further developed this method. At that particular time, the movement felt exactly like this. If the ultimate purpose of the golf swing is to hit the ball precisely with the head, then there's absolutely no need for a backswing or even a hip turn. I started to wonder if I could just focus solely on this specific feeling. If I exaggerate this a bit more, it felt like releasing my wrists well before the head even made contact with the ball. Or it felt like the head was already closed before hitting the ball. If I were to hit the ball in this manner, it would look completely different from the players who seem to pull it in so well. However, while the feeling is like this, when I actually hit the ball with this technique, if you think my explanation sounds a bit strange and are about to turn off this video, please take a look at my slow motion demonstration first. This time, I will show you the action of throwing the club head and releasing the wrists from the top in an exaggerated manner. I will do my best to show you how the grip and the head change positions and how the wrists can be released in a way that looks really incorrect from the top. So let's take a look. So, let's take a At the top, the more you release this wrist, the more the club lags. To put it a bit exaggeratedly, the crazier you release it, the more it lags. Those who come to me for lessons leave having seen their own form with their own eyes. You need to master this method of throwing the club head to achieve average distance and, furthermore, to dream of hitting long shots, aim at the ball, and try to bounce the club head like I do. It should feel like you are bouncing the head off the ball just before it makes contact. Meaning you should not pass over the ball, but rather feel as if you are bouncing the head off the ball. The key here is the bounce of the head. Where should we apply force in this movement? When you think about it, the head is thrown when it goes in the direction of the ball, meaning it transitions from the backswing, direction back to the ball, direction. If you keep bouncing the head like this, you'll find that the harder you do it, the more pressure is needed from both hands than you might expect. Additionally, the pressure from both hands needs to be appropriate to throw the head without excessive stiffness in the shoulders or arms. I will show you how to easily apply this to your full swing. First, let's increase the bounce of the head that we practiced in front of the ball. You can lower the speed as the range increases. This is the practice of throwing the head needed during the downswing, and the effort is still required during the transition. It feels like this. Once you have practiced sufficient club head bouncing, you will apply it to the backswing. But first, as a first step, simply lift the club forward. Lifting it forward means not doing the backswing in the original direction, but creating a backswing pose by lifting it forward. When the club passes the top and comes behind your back, you throw the head. It feels like this. Lifting the club forward, passing the top, and throwing the head behind you will feel very similar to the feeling of bouncing the club head small and then larger. You can bounce it larger and slower. The feeling at this time will be very similar to the feeling of lifting the club forward and throwing the head when it passes the top and comes behind you. If you have practiced throwing the head after lifting the club forward and passing the top behind you a few times, now let's apply it to your usual backswing. Go to the top of the backswing gently. Guide the club head behind you and throw it at the ball as if bouncing. You need to do this so that the feeling of the wide bounce of the head in front of the ball matches the natural top of your backswing, the head slightly falling behind you, and the feeling of throwing. At the top, the head must fall behind you to create the appropriate pressure in your right hand for throwing. In this state, you will release the club head. It's like spinning a firecracker. When the weight of the club head is in your right hand, you throw it again. At the top of the backswing, the head falls behind you. It is important to clarify that the head must be in your right hand at the top to throw it. You need to feel relaxed at the top. When you feel the head falling behind you at the top of the backswing, and it is in your right hand, you throw it. This is similar to the timing of when a swing goes up and falls down. You can think of this moment as when the head slightly falls behind you at the top of the backswing. By doing this, anyone can throw the head from the top without difficulty. For golfers like us who have been playing for a while, even if we have never tried throwing from the top, we quickly grasp the timing for it. However, for most of you with limited golf experience, understanding that timing can be difficult. That's why I am here to specifically explain the method today. After making a backswing and passing the top, when the club head drops behind your back, that is when you throw. This is very similar to the feeling of bouncing the club head lightly and then trying to bounce it more widely. The sensation of bouncing in this phase when the club drops behind your back will align closely. As you make the backswing and the club continues in one direction, passing the top and dropping behind your back, the pressure in my right hand increases. You can throw when this pressure is heightened, just like when you are lightly bouncing the head. As you go back and then transition forward, remember the pressure you feel in your right hand when the head comes forward. During the backswing, you should feel the head slightly Drop behind your back. When the head is positioned behind you, the pressure in your right hand increases, which can lead to a better swing. When you pull the club down towards the ball, the wrists actually relax at the end. If you pull it down like this, there isn't enough space. So at the last moment, you end up bending your wrists sharply to hit the ball. This is because the club and hands operate in opposite ways. When you lower your hands, the head must not drop at the end. Instead, you need to relax them to create space. Alternatively, for impact motions like those of professional players, if you keep pulling without relaxing your wrists, it may look good on video, but the club's speed will be halved. It's as if you are just holding on to the club. The wrists need to relax properly to achieve a whip-like strike. No matter how much you want to create a certain shape, if you pull without relaxing your wrists, you cannot expect speed. You should bounce the head off the ball in a small form, then try to bounce it a bit larger and slower. And as you bring it forward, let it drop behind you and then relax. When you feel the head dropping behind you during your regular swing, you pull with your right hand to throw it. This is the feeling of throwing the head that I accidentally felt and discarded back in 2000, thinking it was a wrong motion. With less effort, speed will increase, and the ball will be easier to hit well. If I had filmed myself just once, at that time, I would have been able to see the difference between the feeling of my swing and the actual appearance from the outside, with my own eyes. However, I was unable to do that. If there had been a system that could immediately provide information, like club speed, even a system like TrackMan or GC Quad, it would have given me a small sense of belief in my realizations as a beginner. However, no one around me agreed with that realization. When I asked, is this feeling correct? Is it okay to feel this way? No one supported me on this. At that time, I have a sense of regret that if even one golf expert had given me confidence in my movements, it would have made a difference. Nowadays, with launch monitors like TrackMan and GC Quad being widely available, if I could have immediately checked my movements after a shot, the feeling I realized in 2000 would have led me to shout "Eureka" upon confirming my swing. Even with just a smartphone, it would have been easy to verify. However, to throw properly from the top, the club head must be contained in the right hand. Only when it is contained in the right hand can I throw the head. Video analysis has brought many negative effects to golf lessons due to excessive analysis of a mere 1.5-second swing motion. However, if golfers start to recognize the difference between their feelings and the actual swing, by monitoring their swing appearance, it will indeed contribute positively to the improvement of their swings. I will continue to emphasize, until all of you subscribers can achieve an efficient and impressive swing, I hope you will try throwing the head following today's lesson.